everyone, I got another project that I'm getting started on here, and it's gonna be for my next Squiata build. It's a set of BBS wheels that I had regional from 5x120 to 4x100, and a couple of them have some curb rash, and the hardware is pretty crusty, and we need to strip the clear off of the lips and polish them out. So what we're gonna have to do is build up some weld repair on the ones that are curb rashed, and then try to sand it down and make it look as good as we can. And what I'm gonna do for the hardware is I got this cool little tumbler from Harbor Freight, and it has media inside of it from Harbor Freight as well. I'm also gonna add a little bit of this new finish to it because it helps polish the hardware. And I'm going to show you what it looks like now, and I'll show you what it looks like in stages as it goes day by day in the machine. I'm just going to run it 24 hours a day. So as you can see, it's pretty crusty and dirty. I'm not going to do any cleaning process to it before I throw it in the machine. I'm just going to load it all up in here. Like I said, just put some of that polish in here and let it do its thing. Alright, just ready to go. Gonna put the lid on it and turn it on, and give you a quick peek at some of the damage on these wheels before we start grinding them down and trying to repair them. This one's got some curb rash. This one has some that's been repaired. I don't know if we're gonna worry about that or not yet. You can see. And this one has got some pretty good curb rash as well. Might be able to get away with sanding it down and smoothing it out, but on that one with the big divot taken out of it, we're definitely gonna have to weld it a little bit. Alright, we're gonna let this guy shake away for the entire day. We'll check it tomorrow morning. And what I'm gonna do with these now, I noticed that whoever had them before me started to sand them to get the clear coat off. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and use some paint stripper to go ahead and remove it, and then start sanding them down. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the lips first, and first thing I gotta do is knock down the high spots from where this big chunk is taken out of it, and any other high spots we have. So I've got my little die grinder here, and I'm just going to grind it away. So these have been in the tumbler about 6 hours now. You can see it's done a real good job of cleaning all the Loctite off and everything. It's starting to remove the clear coat off the heads now. Whoops. You can see it's probably going to be a slow process, but it's getting in there. Probably by tomorrow morning, I'd say we'd have some serious headway on these. So let's get them thrown back in there and see what they're looking like tomorrow. All right, so this is after maybe about 20 hours.
just checking them this morning and kind of had a realization that maybe I should throw them in with some paint stripper first to get that clear off, and that way I won't have to run them for a week. So I'm gonna dump some paint stripper in here, let it do its thing, and then dry them off and then throw them back in to the tumbler. All right, I soaked the hardware here in some aircraft stripper for about 15 minutes, and you can see all the clear is coming right off. Here's another one, a good example. Peeling right off. So I'm just drying off most of the moisture right now on this towel, and we'll get them dumped back into the tumbler. See what they look like this afternoon. Pretty sure they'll be looking very nice. All right, here's how we're looking after, I guess we're probably in there, shoot, I don't know, a day and a half now. But ever since we've stripped it, it's only been about maybe 10 hours. And you can see we're looking pretty shiny. So we're just gonna run them another 24 and see what they look like tomorrow afternoon. All right, this is what they're looking like after running for a little over 24 hours. They're starting to look pretty nice. I'm gonna go ahead and run them just for another day, see if it makes them any better. So go ahead and get these thrown back in there and put some more polishing compound in with them. All right, so the next step I'm gonna take is to sand the lips down so that we can get them to a nice smooth finish before we polish them. And I'm gonna start with 400 grit and work our way up. All right, well, I've been sanding this thing by hand for like 5 minutes, and I can already tell you I'm not gonna do this. So what I am gonna do is build a machine that I can mount these lips and barrels to and spin the wheel so that all I have to do is hold the sandpaper in place and let the motion do the work. So I'm gonna need probably a motor, a large pulley, a shaft, a couple of bearings, and some scrap steel, and I'll show you guys what I come up with. Okay, so this is the machine that I came up with in order to help me sand and polish these BBS wheel lips. It's basically a 5x5 1/8 inch square tubing that I've cut up into a C shape here, and I was able to source a motor that's like a 1/4 of a horsepower and a couple of pulleys, a shaft, and surface mount bearings in order to put this together. It's an 1.25 inch shaft, and everything else obviously is 1.25 inch. And in order to mount the lips on here, I've cut out a piece of 3/4 inch plywood that fits perfectly inside the barrel, and I just put a couple screws on here and it secures it on there pretty well. I'll show you how that works in a minute. But first, I'd like to show you the finished product. I've already polished out 2 of these, and as you can see, it does a pretty dang good job. I run it through, let's see, 400 grit, 600, 800, 1000, 1500, and then 2000 before running 3 different polishing compounds and then a paste with a polishing machine. So this is what they look like originally. Nice thick clear coat, just a machine finish. And here are the 2 that I have, like I said, completed. They're not perfect. I'm definitely gonna give it a little extra time on this next go around, see if I can't make them like a mirror. But for the first tries, I'm pretty happy, and each one took about an hour. So let's show you the process. So the lips for these sets of wheels that I have were already mostly stripped, but there was some straggling clear coat, and it's really tough to get off, so I just went ahead and threw some with this paint stripper on there, and it seems to be doing the trick. I'll go ahead and get this nasty divot filled in with a little bit of weld, and we'll sand that down. And then I'll mount one of these up on the machine and show you how it works. There you can see the clear coat peeling up real nice. Alright, I got the wheel lip all mounted up here, and I'm gonna turn the machine on now. And this is basically what it does. It spins it at a relatively low speed, and I'm just gonna go ahead and wet sand it until I'm ready to move to the next grit. Just got a little spray bottle that I use occasionally to keep it nice and lubricated, and just try to hit all the surfaces evenly. This is after a few minutes with the 400 grit. It's looking pretty good. Probably gonna give it a little bit more. And I am having an issue with the curb rash. It's a little deeper than I was thinking it was, so I may pull this lip out and try and fix all that with welding. I'm not sure yet, but I will let you know. Alright, I'm out here in the shop, and we're gonna go ahead and just add some material on these lips where needed. And that's primarily gonna be where some of the deeper curb rashing is. As you can see, it's quite a bit on this one, and just a small spot as well. It's about half of the wheel on this one as well. Just have to go through it and kind of fill in those low spots so that we don't have to take a ton of material off. Get started. Well, the only areas I really had to add material were in those two large divots. Everything else I was able to just kind of smooth out by going over it with the TIG torch and then finish sanding it with my little miniature belt sander. And it's looking pretty good. I think we're gonna go ahead and throw it back on the polishing machine and see how they look. Alright, I unfortunately have been neglecting to film, but I'm down to, I just finished 1000 grit on this lip, and this one was the one with all the curb rash. Check it out. You can't even tell where it was. Anyways, the battery's about to die. Just wanted to show you what the surface finish looks like halfway there, and I'll go ahead and put it back on time lapse. Alright, so I've finished going through my different steps of sandpaper all the way to 2000, and what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take my handheld buffer, and I've got 3 different stages of these buffing pads, 3 different stages of these polishing bars, and we're just going to go through all 3 steps, and then we wipe it down with a paste, and you'll see it shine like a mirror. Okay, this is after the first stage of cutting, and this is the most shiny it's been yet, so I got a really good feeling this one's going to be really mirror finish once we get to that 3rd step. Alright, this is after the 2nd step. We still got 2 more. I can already see my face in these things, and I don't think the other 2 are that good, so this one's gonna look really nice. This is the 3rd and last stage of the buffing wheel with the bars, and now I'm gonna move on to using this final product that comes with the kit, which is called Pro 40, and basically we're just gonna buff this on and then buff it off and see what it looks like. Okay, here it is next to the other ones, and I can definitely tell that it's on a completely other level. The other 2 kind of, well, this one's not too bad, which was the 2nd one. It's got a pretty clear reflection on the lip. This one's a little hazy, which was the 1st one, which I guess makes sense. But this 3rd one, man, super clear reflection, basically like a mirror. Came out really nice. And this one was the worst wheel too, all the curb rash and dings. Look at that. Beautiful. Let's get this last one finished. I would like to get the faces re-powder coated, but it's not a big deal for now, I guess. Alright, well, I'm finally done with the 4th wheel, and I'm happy to say that they came out really good. This is the last one. It's about on par with the 3rd one that I did, so I'd say I got it figured out pretty well. Nice reflection in there. Now, like I said, the faces do need some work. I'm not gonna spray paint them, rather do powder coat, so at some point I will take them back apart and do that, but for now I think I'll try and get some tires for these and figure out what car I want to put them on. And that is how you polish BBS lips. I'll catch you guys next time.